Welcome to the Tech Matchmaker, the show where contact center challenges meet their perfect tech match. I'm your host, Gina Gibson, and in just 15 minutes, we serve up the smartest, coolest innovations shaking up the contact center industry. Whether you're searching for your next solution or just love staying ahead of the curve, we've got the insights to keep you in the know. Let's dive in and discover what's next. I promise you, it's going to be fun. Hello, today we are chatting with John Badstubner, who is an enterprise account executive for nonprofits at ServiceNow. Welcome, John. I'm very happy to help you on the podcast.
Yeah, it's great to see you, Gina. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Excellent. So let's start with the basics. John, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm John Badstubner. I lead our nonprofit practice for the West Coast. I'm based in California, pretty much serve nonprofits as far north as Alaska and far south as Hawaii. I do have a handful of states that are not touching the Pacific as well. And I've been here for 2.5 years. Prior to joining ServiceNow, I was with Salesforce.org, where I also serve nonprofits, helping with their technology and using tools to drive their mission forward, and was there for 4.5 years. So coming up on 7 years of total experience in the nonprofit sector and the tech for good space. Prior to all that, I was actually in health and human services and worked as a mental health counselor and a youth mentor. So bringing all the things together in my prior experiences in health and human services, I saw firsthand how technology can be a conduit to helping you do your mission and get back and do more work with the people that need it. And when you don't have that, it's really, holds you back with manual, long-winded processes. So great to be here and really happy to talk more about what we're doing at ServiceNow.
I love that. And, John, I didn't realize you were at ServiceNow or at Salesforce before ServiceNow. So
Yeah.
you really do bring a view for customers that many don't have, right? Because you actually know both platforms really well. So that's a really unique feature that you have.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm learning every day. These platforms are huge in terms of what they can do, but I try to, I never want to be a master of none. So I try to focus on some specific areas that I think can bring the most value. And in that way, I can be a advisor and a trusted person to help organizations make an impact.
That's fantastic. And John, do you guys consider yourself a CRM, or how do you define your platform for those people who are listening?
Absolutely. So ServiceNow, we define ourselves as a digital workflow platform. So what it helps do is like manage, automate, and connect work across all teams and departments. So we centralize everything in this platform so that you're not having a swivel chair between systems. It's really like the single pane of glass, so to speak, where you go in, you can get what you need, you can complete tasks, think of things like HR tasks, finance, IT help, right? And so we're really empowering employees as well as constituents on the outside of the organization to engage with the departments that they need help from. And it's really just meant to bring everything together, streamline those processes so that people feel like they can have a place to go that's not only efficient, but just a good user experience overall.
Excellent. And what does set ServiceNow apart from the others in the field?
It's a great question. There's a lot of point solutions that I'd say that are out there that do different parts of what we do as a platform. So what I'd say that sets us apart is that we're truly a platform. So what that means is we have different modules for every business department you could think of within an organization. So instead of having to buy a bunch of different point solutions and other tools, we're able to consolidate tech and be that one place, that one vendor that you can work with to do everything that your business needs. So what I'm seeing a lot of is organizations, especially over the pandemic, they purchased so many different tools for various needs when they went digital and work from home and remote. And now they're trying to cut costs, consolidate, and instead of having, all these different tools that they're going to jump between to do what they need to do, they can have one single place that they can go. And it may connect to those systems in the back end. I think ServiceNow's integration with Open API, and we have over 200 pre-built integrations with various partners, really help just bring that all together and do that quickly. So the goal is to make workflow better, reduce manual tasks, and help organizations deliver services faster and more consistently.
And are there any kind of unique features within those different modules that your customers are like, I don't know how we existed before we had this, or things that they really rave about that you'd want people to know for sure that ServiceNow can deliver?
Yeah, I really think it's connecting those siloed systems. So in my segment, with nonprofits, they usually have a lot of scattered systems and they're using spreadsheets and all types of stuff. So ServiceNow integrates all these things together and really creates that single source of truth. So that helps leaders make better decisions, have a good view of what's going on with the organization, where the challenges are. But for the employee, it's a better experience because they have the ability to get the information they need, whether that's, for self-service or knowledge articles or whatever it may be, so that they can get what they need quickly. So I think in that way, it's really by bringing everything together is what's helping organizations the most from their current state, which again is all these different tools for various things.
And manual for sure. You hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've kind of noticed, as you know, I'm involved in the nonprofit sector as well, and they're definitely a group that's behind in the adoption of AI, and I think a lot of that has to do with budget constraints. But what are you seeing from ServiceNow? Like, what capabilities or AI capabilities do you have within the nonprofit platform for ServiceNow that are really helping nonprofits make that leap ahead?
Yeah, I definitely think it's like the customer service and case management capabilities. You can think like when you go and let's take a bank, for example, right? You try to get on with the bank to talk to somebody, but then you're on the phone going through, all these different punch ins and it doesn't get you where you need. And I know for me, at least, I'm like, zero, connect me with an agent, zero, connect me with an agent. And with AI, you're able to have actually conversational dialogue with a virtual agent essentially. And that can actually help get, say, you do need to connect with a real person, it can get all the information that, that person that you're going to connect with ultimately needs to know so that you're not having redundant conversations. I can't tell you how many times I've, gone on the phone with somebody and it's like, then they ping me over to somebody else and then I have to say everything over to that next person, and it's like, aren't you collecting this information? Aren't you like getting this in your system so you know how to best serve me? And it seems like in my experience that a lot of organizations don't have that capability. So AI from a customer service perspective, I think is huge because it's able to chat with me to get what it needs from me to be able to best serve me. And then the people on the back end have that information so they can best help resolve whatever it is I need in a quick and timely manner. And again, without that, it's a lot of redundancies. It's just collecting information because it's not, over and over again because it's not being provided up front. And that's very challenging for not only the people that are receiving services, but as well as the staff too, because, then they're having to talk with angry customers,
Yes.
that are very annoyed and not super happy by the time they get to them. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question. I mean, there's so
Yeah,
many different use cases, but that's just one that I see as being really impactful.
absolutely. Do you want to tell us about a success story that you've had with ServiceNow in the nonprofit sector and kind of maybe what you walked into, what their situation looked like, and once they implemented you, how it improved maybe their ability to deliver service or whatever
Yeah,
metrics that you guys measured?
absolutely. There's a great research organization in the Northwest in Washington, actually. And what they were doing is very much, that manual case routing, say you need help and support. It's coming through email. It's maybe a walk up to a desk, a place, a service area within the organization, or calling in. And what we were able to do for them is in that portal where employees can go and get the resources they need, they had that AI chatbot right there on the bottom right. And so with that, they took all their knowledge articles and all the information that they normally would provide to somebody to help them resolve whatever it is. And they made it so that the chatbot could then effectively bubble those things up and help the people seeking support with just doing it themselves and self resolutions. They've seen an over 20% drop in tickets that need to actually end up with a live agent because people are able to actually get what they need and not have to actually even talk to somebody. They're still in early days, and we expect to see that percentage of case deflection go even higher. With a small, a lot of nonprofits have small teams, they're
Yes.
pretty bootstrapped, and people are wearing multiple hats. So to reduce the level of, asks and support tickets is huge for them. and getting back to other pieces of work that may be more important.
Definitely. And so what are stepping outside the nonprofit sector for a minute, is there any vertical that ServiceNow doesn't address? Like, I know we've talked about nonprofits, but healthcare, financial, public, like, I'm guessing there's an application everywhere.
There is, yeah. We've any type of business, there's tailored solutions for that business. I can't think of any that we don't serve at this point. Like the first thing that comes to mind is like some like space, outer space.
Yeah.
Like, although I think NASA's maybe a client. You don't quote me on that, but regardless, I can't think of any organization that doesn't have really the nonprofit sector for. So we launched ServiceNow.org 2 years ago. So I guess I would say before the launch of ServiceNow.org, there really wasn't a dedicated arm for nonprofits. So this is the latest and greatest part of our company that's been developed to serve the unique needs of this sector. So I guess prior to 2 years ago, we didn't really have a nonprofit dedicated team, and nonprofits were just pretty much managed as, alongside other small, medium businesses. And I think that was challenging for our clients because they didn't have staff or people that really knew their industry and could help empathize, put themselves in their shoes. And nonprofits have a lot of nuances with how they get budget approvals and the ways that they go through like fiscal year planning. And so now that we have this department at ServiceNow, I really feel that we're filling a void that perhaps was there prior. And I'll also say that by doing this, we're reducing the barrier of entry as well. So prior to ServiceNow.org, there wasn't really a pricing model for nonprofits. It wasn't, something as attainable as it may be now for their smaller budgets. So we've done really great things around making our pricing more competitive for them, easier to digest, and so effectively reducing that barrier of entry for allowing them to get the best in breed of technology. And if we can help empower people to get the best technology in their hands, then they're empowered to do their best work. And so I'm really proud to be a part of this. And I think it says a lot about the company overall that they're focusing on this sector and trying to help these amazing organizations that are doing so much for communities in the world, that we can help them with the best tools that exist.
I couldn't agree with you more. And on that same vein, what kind of emerging technologies or trends are you seeing that are going to help take nonprofits and your offering to the next level?
I definitely, it's like AI, but at a certain point, and I think everybody's on a different trend of like where they're at with using AI. But for me, I use it pretty much every day. And what's cool about ServiceNow is that we've built AI into our platform that's really like an internal AI system. It's not going out and talking to all the resources in the world. It's just within your instance, so it's much more secure. I think it's easier for people to actually use because they know that there's some guardrails around it. It's only pulling data within their own system rather than various data points all over. So with that said, I think AI is going to be more easily utilized with a system like ServiceNow because it's baked into the platform, and it's got guardrails around it because it's only using the customer's information and the things that they've put into it. So I find that many organizations are kind of afraid about jumping into the world of AI because it's kind of like a black box and you don't know what you're going to get from it. But when you have that, wall around it to keep it internalized, I think then that makes it a lot safer and more focused and impactful for the organizations that use it. I'm really excited to see clients actually starting to get their toes, in the water with AI by the way of ServiceNow, and us being a conduit to helping them start on that forward-looking journey that they would embark upon.
Yeah, and I think the trend I'm kind of noticing too, and I'd love your input on it, is that, like you said, it's kind of their own LLM, so to speak, right? That they're
Yeah.
creating in there. That is definitely the trend we're seeing. That it's yes, you can pull from different LLMs or use different ones, but I'm really seeing that the having your own LLM is becoming more popular. Is that what you're noticing with your customers as well?
Yeah, that's where I think it feels safer. It feels
Mm.
more attainable because when you're looking at things like using OpenAI for work on a day-to-day basis, it's great, but it's pulling information from a lot of different places, and a lot of times the information's incorrect or the system will have hallucinations, and so it's not super predictable or accurate. And, when you have that built, we call it Now Assist, which is our native AI capability. That Now Assist module, again, is using data within your system and therefore is more likely to be accurate. It's more likely to be relevant and helpful. So I think the caveat there, the biggest thing is organizations getting a good data strategy and handle on their data, right? And so before you turn these light switches on and start turning these things on, you want to make sure that your data is clean, that your organization's healthy, because when you have, and quite frankly, people are using AI to do this as well,
Yeah.
to actually clean up the data and find these discrepancies that could cause errors. So they're able to use AI to get the data in a good standing and then leverage that data to their benefit, whether it's predictive intelligence or just summarizations of what they're working on. A lot of great use cases and definitely where the future's headed. And I see it helping people a lot of different ways.
Absolutely. The way we typically wrap up our podcast, John, is I've always been a big fan of James Lipton, so we do a few little rapid fires. So
Okay.
what is your favorite word?
Success.
What is your least favorite word?
Sadness.
What excites you the most?
Being able to help people.
And if somebody wants more information about using ServiceNow, not just in the nonprofit sector, but any kind of sector, John, who should they reach out to?
Yeah, you can just go to our website, servicenow.com, and then depending on what you're looking for, you can easily fill out your information and get in touch with somebody. For any nonprofits, I'm always happy to help. I think we could share my email or something like that in the post, but yeah, I'm here to help. Would love to get people connected with the right parties, no matter what sector they work in, but definitely our website will be a good place to get you in the right hands.
Excellent. Thanks so much, John, for joining us today and for sharing your insights and for all that you and ServiceNow do for the not-for-profit sector. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Gina. It's
Have a
an
great
honor and
day.
a pleasure. You too.
Thanks for hanging out with us on the Tech Matchmaker. I hope today's spotlight sparks some fresh ideas and real solutions for your contact center. Want to dive deeper into the tech we featured? Hit up the show notes for all the links and extras, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if there's a challenge you want us to tackle, don't be shy, reach out. I'll catch you soon with more innovation, more use cases, and more ways to keep your business moving forward. Stay curious, stay bold, and keep exploring what's next.